Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4. We have live team coverage of storm damage after two tornadoes ripped through parts of southern Wisconsin yesterday.
The tornadoes ripped off roofs of homes, destroyed storage sheds and barns, and damaged a lot of land across the area.
There are no reports of significant injuries, and we have live team coverage this afternoon. News 3 Now's Eric Franke is on the scene in Evansville where the tornado touched down. Eric?
Susan, Charlotte, we are just east of Evansville, a few miles from the downtown part of Evansville. We drove a few miles east of the city to get out here to Tolles Road, where there's a lot of damage out here, and there are crews working. There's crews assessing the damage, and emergency management officials reporting several structures damaged in all this. Buildings all around us, really. Power lines, of course, are down. Several structures suffered some damage before the storm moved east and died out towards Milwaukee a bit. Let's take a drone shot taken actually from the Evansville area. The temperature was a record high for February, coming in at 59 degrees yesterday. And while, as you mentioned, there's no reports of any significant injuries, a local farmer did find one of his cows dead inside his 103-year-old barn that was reduced basically to rubble, and we understand 10 more cows are missing. As you mentioned, in just the last half hour or so, the National Weather Service confirmed actually there were two separate tornadoes out here, and that comes from straight from the crews that have been out here surveying the damage all day. Our Braden Ross has actually been following those crews for the better part of the day, and she joins us now live with the latest. Braden?
Yeah, Eric, we actually just wrapped up talking with those crews. They confirmed to us, like you said, there were two tornadoes, one of those outside of Albany. That was an EF1 level. The other one that came through here just outside Evansville, that was an EF level 2. They said high EF2. Again, that's a scale of 0 to 5, remember. But here's take a look here at some of the video we gathered as we were following along with those crews of what they were dealing with. The one house we visited with them actually lost the roof completely. That homeowner told me they were home when the tornado hit. Everyone's okay, though. The crews, as they're walking through and looking at this damage, they're looking at significant damage like this as they work through the path, trying to determine how strong this storm really actually was.
We are seeing some substantial structural damage so far this morning. A lot of damage to homes, particularly roofs off of homes. And we also have seen some outbuildings completely flattened in some cases.
Now, again, this is the first tornado in history to hit Wisconsin in the month of February. The National Weather Service meteorologist I talked to said that's just a reminder that a tornado can come anytime you have the right conditions, and last night we did. Now, again, they're still working through this damage. They're done kind of doing their survey here, but they're going to still be analyzing some of that data, and they might even change those EF ratings. We're not sure yet, but I'll send it back to Eric for now, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more. Eric.
All right, Braden. Yeah, the 136 miles an hour is the high end of that EF2 scale, and that has changed through the years. But she's looking at the scientific approach that surveyors are looking at when they're taking in the damage. It also takes a tremendous personal toll, even if it's not a wide number of families affected by this. It is very personal for many of these folks. And Catherine Merck has been out here talking to folks who have suffered this damage. She joins us now, and it's really unbelievable when you see this up close, Catherine.
Absolutely, Eric. And we've been out here all day taking a look at some of this, and it really is quite remarkable. Where we're standing right now is actually a family's business, and they had a lot of farming equipment here and huge tools that just absolutely were blown away by some of the heavy winds here. Take a look at some of the stuff that we're seeing right here behind me. This is a collector Mustang, and it's obviously flipped over and destroyed. You can barely tell what it was. And then over here, a tractor that they used. This was 4,000 pounds, entirely flipped over. Think about how heavy and fast the winds would have had to have been to be able to flip this over. Today, we spoke to someone who was in their home at the time of the tornado last night. She tells us a little bit about what that experience was like. Take a listen.
Pretty terrifying. I've never heard a noise like that in my life. Like they say, it's like a freight train. It was exactly like that. Just loud, and our ears popped really bad, the pressure, and then it was gone.
We are going to be continuing to take a look at some of this damage throughout the rest of the weekend as we continue to find out how many people exactly were impacted and what some of the financial impacts have happened here. These families tell me they're now filing insurance claims and staying with family members in the area, and they actually were in high spirits, Eric, as we were walking back here, some people collecting some items that were left and overall being together in this difficult time for them.
Yeah, it is no doubt difficult for these folks to see their properties like this. We're seeing pieces kind of strewn across fields. As you drive out of Evansville, you get 3 miles or so outside of the downtown area and you start to see pieces of farm equipment, mostly some metal kind of thrown throughout the fields out there. But you really hope everybody can be made whole again, talking to their insurance companies and get that process underway. We want to remind folks whenever, as we head into the severe weather season, you can stay up to date on the weather at all times. Safety is paramount, so grab that First Warn Forecast Weather app, hourly forecast, road conditions, your latest radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Again, we'll continue to try to talk to folks out here impacted by this and take a look at some of the damage from last night's storm. Back to you, Susan, Charlotte.